So Brother has come out with another Stellaire, and today we're going to talk about the sewing side of that machine. I'm Megan with Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum, and next to me here is the Brother XJ2, or the Stellaire 2. If you remember us from a few years ago, Stellaire! Okay, anyways, so with the sewing side of this machine, they've added a couple more features which I think are really incredible for it. So the first one is going to be the one that most of us are going to get really excited about, which is the needle plate. If you look at the needle plate, there is nothing on the needle plate, no screws or anything. So with that, all I have to do is pop it off. The machine comes with this new little SAM driver that's a little bit long and narrow. And then all I have to do is poke it there, pull it to the left, there's the needle plate. So if I need to switch from my straight stitch to my zigzag needle plate, it comes up super duper easy. I don't need to find a screwdriver and sit here for, 10 minutes, just screw in the screwdriver. It just pop, done, and it's a nice flip. So that's one of the nice things that they've added to the new Stellaire XJ2. But let's talk about actual sewing features here. So I'm going to go into the sewing screen, and this screen in general just looks pretty familiar, right? But you probably notice that I've got a different foot on the machine. It's the N+ foot, which gives you more stability, which allows us to do more things with decorative stitches, such as tapering. So I'm going to go ahead and do the tapering section. So if you look on my screen, all the way at the bottom, there's two new sections here. S is for more like sashiko stitching. So it's going to, if I were to use a monofilament thread, it would look like a hand look as the machine sews. And then the T is for tapering. And you can see I've got 20 different stitches that I can use for tapering. So I'm going to pick one. We're going to do this guy. And on the side, my tapering icon turns on. So I'm going to turn that on, and then it's going to tell me on, off. I can select the angle that I want. So maybe I want to do more like a 45-degree angle. And you can see it changing as I'm messing around with it. Let's do a 45. And then I go to the end, and I'm going to do the 45 this way. And then press OK. And you heard the machine kind of adjust to that. And then it tells me right here, please press the reverse stitch button to start stitching the tapering end. So when I get to the edge of where I want it to start tapering, I'm going to press that reverse button. So let's go ahead and sew it. I'm going to put it under the foot here, put my presser foot down, and you guys know the drill with these guys. If you don't have the foot control, green is go. I'm going to let her do her thing. Can you hear how quiet it is too? It's always really nice to have a powerful machine that's pretty quiet, because if you're sewing with your buddies, you want to still have a conversation with them. Alright, so I'm going to hit that reverse button and tell it to start this taper for me. Alright, now it's stopped, so I can lift my foot control and I can tilt it to about 90 degrees. Yep, there we go. And then I can do it again. So this is the perfect for applique, for the edge of quilt labels, and I can just think of several other different reasons I could use the tapering stitches for. So I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Just going to finish it off for me. And I'm just going to cut my thread for now. Lift my presser foot, and look at that. I have a perfect corner stitched out. So that made it super duper easy for me to be able to switch that. And I can think of so many different applications. I can even think of using it on like collars. And oh my goodness, there's just so many possibilities out there with it. They also have added a few other things. Of course, we do have our laser, which if you've used it in the past, you know that this is an awesome feature. And I can kind of move that over to be my guideline. And I can even just move it incrementally, which is good. I also love the fact I always get obsessed with character decorative stitches. So they have tons of character decorative stitches built into the screen that you can use with your end foot. So usually my favorite section is going to be in number 7. And we got some plain ones, but then as we get a little further down, we get some big fun ones. Whoops. Back to character. I'm going to go into 6 because I think the really fun ones, here we go. So we've got some fun lettering, and then we've also got big maxi stitches. So like that stitch there, you can see on the screen here that that's going to be a little bit bigger than my end foot, but with that new N+ foot, it gives you extra stability so it stitches beautifully. I'll show you really quick what that one's going to look like. I'm going to do that, and then if I press this, it'll only stitch the one. And notice, I'm not even touching the fabric. I'm letting the machine do it for me. because when it's doing this with that end foot, it's going to give it the perfect stability so it sews perfectly every single time. You should be just about done here. You can kind of hear it hopping around too. That's your feed dogs moving your fabric left and right. Now we got our big beautiful flower stitching. All right. One more flourish. And since I only told it to do one, it's going to finish up right now. I'm going to cut my thread, lift up my presser foot, and look at that. Look how much bigger that is from my end foot. Isn't that cool? So can you imagine putting that on the bottom of a little girl's dress? Or using that as a decorative flourish in the middle of an applique? There's just so many possibilities with the sewing side of the Stellaire XJ2. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you next time for when we're talking about the embroidery side of the machine.